Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome everyone in the class of African literature. So previously, what we discussed was about Ben Okri's The Famished Road. This always happen. Okay. The Famished Road, obviously a winner of the Booker Prize, the Ben Okri. It was published in 1991. It is all about the politics and the history of Africa. But Ben Okri, he was not lamenting about the colonialism in this work in the Famished Road. Rather, he was being neutral, and he was trying to urge the African people or African nation to rise for themselves and to change their fate, to make a change. And the voice of the Ben Okri in the work is Azaru's father, who is not given any particular name, rather given the title of Dad. So what previously we were talking about the thematic analysis of the Famished Road, and in the previous lecture there we discussed some major themes. We discussed about the themes, about the definition of the theme, that theme is basically the main idea or the underlying meaning of a literary work, which is directly or indirectly stated by the author in the work, and it is represented through any event, through characters' experience, through their actions, through their dialogues, anything. The basic purpose of the writer is to convey the message to the reader, and is to clarify the thing that he wants his reader to understand. So some of the major themes we discussed in the previous lecture, one was the poverty, second was sorry about that, politics and corruption, self-aggrandizement, then comes the spiritual heritage, symbolic leader, suspicion, environmental degradation. These were the themes that we previously discussed. In this lecture, I'll be discussing about I'll discuss about the other themes, like the suffering and sublime beauty in the Famished Road. So how he depicted suffering in this work, and how he depicted sublime beauty, and what sublime beauty is actually present in this work. Suffering, we can see the suffering everywhere in this work because of the poverty and the poor politics, or the dirty politics and the corruption, dishonesty, aggrandizement, and environmental degradation. Because of these things, because of these issues, we can see the suffering everywhere in the work. So where we can find the sublime beauty? Let's move on. Suffering. I used the pictures that I used while describing the theme of poverty. So Okri, he doesn't make any distinction in the novel settings between the spirit world, which in the novel is as concrete as the real world, and the real world, which is a slum area in an unnamed African city, somewhere in the Nigeria, like just by the spelling of the word, or Yoruban culture, it is also just by the use of the language or the diction he has used in the work. So the description of the spirit world as fantastical, lurid, as a surrealist painting, or integrated into the concrete word of Azaru. a spirit child and a Biko child, and his utterly poverty-stricken parents. His name comes from Lazarus, as I told you in the previous lectures. Risen means born to die or risen from the dead. Okri's description of the slum where Zaru and his parents live are detailed and barefaced, with no evasion or Vaseline on the lens, means there isn't any blurriness. He has depicted the clear picture of that era, of that area, of that slum where he used to live and his parents they used to live. And the readers who have had direct experience of this slum living will recognize this factuality, and this is the poverty that means a life entirely without material resources, means no electricity, no internet, no phone, no books, no furnishings, means no house, no welfare system, no money, means a hand to mouth existence. And such a situation is still present in Africa, especially in the Central Africa. One of my cousins, he's in the army, and once he was posted in the Central Africa, and he used to tell us that they don't have electricity over there, there isn't any internet facility, no phones. They like as the military, they created their own resources over there to have phone connectivity or internet connectivity, for electricity. So the people of African people, they have their own sims that that can only be used, they have their own that can only be used within the Africa. So they are quite superstitious people, and they do believe in black magic. There is a hell of the present of the black magic in the Africa. This is the things, these are the facts that my cousin told us about the people of the Central Africa. So the same kind of situation is presented by the Okri in the famished road, means if you don't work, you don't eat, you are in a never ending cycle of poverty. So if you cannot hawk, what little you have, you do not eat. If you get hurt or get ill, you'll probably die. You are but one step away from being a beggar with the nauseatingly stinky disease or disability. So, the sublimely beautiful spirit word contrasted with the suffering and relentless misery. The spirit world is depicted as the sublimely beautiful place or state or being with richness, with pleasures, with delights, means that are never ending, like in the spirit world. But unlike heaven in other religions, to be reached after death, this spirit world is part of the living world. According to the like animism and shamanism, the practitioner in African countries, according to them, particularly Central and West Africa, humans, they turn into spirits, fight spirits, and leave their bodies to go on fantastical, like often nightmarish spirit journeys, as much as spirit children do. So Ben Okri has depicted this thing by the myth of a Biko child. The spirit children, the Abiko children, they choose to leave the spirit world by becoming human and being a human being, and born, and may choose to die and return to the spirit world. Means there is a cycle of birth and death in the spirit children. So like elves and other fantasy creatures in fairy tales, spirit children are lent to humans for a limited time, and may like snow children, melting, or mermaid princesses returning to the sea. So return to the spirit world when their slay and tempting fellow spirits charm them back. So the attachment between the spirit children and their parents, there comes the attachment, and why should spirit children want to leave the spirit world, to be in the real world, to be in the world of misery, sufferings, or in the world of pain. So in the previous lecture I mentioned a quote from the text, that in which Azarus says that it may also mean that I, Azaro, want you to taste this word, to feel it, to suffer it, know it, to love it, to make a valuable contribution to it. Then it continues that, but I sometimes think that it was the face that made me want to stay. I wanted to make happy the bruised face of the woman who would become my mother. The spirit children who wanted that face happy, because it was the seventh birth of the Azaru, and this time he didn't want to disheart that woman, and he himself wanted to taste the word. And you may say he was gotten bored of the spirit word, and he wanted to taste this word. You may say he was an adventurous person. So also this spirit children wanted to experience all the option open to the people, like all the roots multiplied, reproducing themselves, subdividing themselves, turning in on themselves like snakes, tails in their mouths, twisting themselves into labyrinths. Means he just wanted to taste the word, the unending adventures of the word, and unending misery, pain, and pleasures of this word. So that is one thing, the suffering. So next comes the happiness. What brings happiness? Which things were the reasons for the happiness, or the reason for happiness in the work? First one is the close relation, then personal getaways, then financial success. So the famished road, it is basically depicting, it is a trilogy, and the famished road, this book, it contains almost 7 chapters, and in which he has depicted the story of the Abeko child. And apart from the other themes, Ben Okri reveals that how happiness is also an underlying theme in the famished road. It is found in the close relationships among the characters, their personal getaways from the everyday life, and the financial successes in the Nigerian society. So now, although he has selected a few, means Azaro often finds happiness in close relationships. And the example and the proof of this thing is that he refused to go back to the spirit world. So it means that he finds pleasure to be with his close relationships. So his love for the unborn centered on much older individuals such as his parents, Madame Koto, spirits. So Azaro is closest to his parents, and his father, an ex-boxer who works to get by financially, and is Azaro's mentor and friend in tough Nigerian society. So this states Azaro's relationship with his father. Then Azaro says that Dad became the guardian giant who led me into the discoveries of our new world. New world means the earth. So to Azaro, the new word is not just the physical word, it is the word that accompanies all the troubles that Azaro will need to learn how to face, such as poverty, political dominance. So in the midst of the gnawing poverty and the misery that was present there, and Azaru's life, we never forget the pristine vision of the eternal love, beauty, and friendship with which the novel begins. So, in the happiness in the famished road, because Azaru and his father, they display their love and friendship for each other, although their environment is unfavorable. So second comes the relationship with his mother, and he decided to live instead of going back to the spirit world. He made this decision by because of the woman, because of his mother. Mother, a hawker who does everything she can to help her husband financially. Then she is also Azaru's confidant and protector. When Azaru goes missing, he states that his mother stayed up all night and looked for me in every corner, under every car, had shouted my name where houses were burning. So this explains why Azaru has a strong relationship with his mother. He knows that his absence from his mother's life will cause her great grief, and his mother says everything she can, says that everything she can to prevent Azaru from entering the spirit world. So she asserts that if a spirit calls you, do not go. You hear? Think of us, think of me, who carried you in my womb for more than 9 months, and who walks the streets because of you, because she was a hawker. Hawker means she used to sell storage products in the streets. So the bond between Azaru and his mother is stronger when Azaru's father lashes out on him, often leaving him with severe bruises. One night, Azaru runs away from the home because he sees spirits chasing him. So once he arrives back home, his father thrashes him until he bleeds. Azaru points out that Dad sounded more furious than ever, but Mum stood firm, determined no more beating should be visited on me. So later that night, she secretly brings him food, herbal juices, and medicine for his cuts. It is Mum who comes to Azaru's rescue. First, when he gets lost, through his mother's unconditional love and unyielding protection, Azaru lives a joyous and pleasing life. So next relationship comes with the Madame Coutu. Madame Coutu is a most unique and bizarre, because she is an old, brawny woman who acts, looks and behaves like a man, and she often scares Azaru away with her harsh personality. And however, he always returns, and because Madame Coutu always helps him out when he is in need. After seeing the financial crisis, Azaru's family was in after a peerless flood. Madame Coutu gives Azaru money, a generous but unfamiliar thing to do in poverty-stricken Nigerian society. Azaru states, I had never seen so much money in my life. Azaru knows that he can rely on Madame Coutu financially, regardless of her haughty attitude and frightening looks. The relationship makes him happy because it provides him with money to escape his poverty-stricken life. But this wasn't one-sided relationship, as Madame Coutu was also seen to get Azaru's blood to keep herself young, and she often asks Azaru to visit to visit her bar, because at first she thought that Azaru brings good luck and he brings more customer. So she used to ask him to visit bar more often. She also gives him a job in her bar. So the next relationship comes with the spirit world. Unlike the previous friendship, the relationship Azaru has with the spirits is atypical, because they want to lure him out of the physical world. They want to charm him back into the spirit world. Unfortunately, he is the only human that can communicate with the spirits in the work. So none of the human characteristic entry into his spirit world. So however, it is the ability to evade the spirit's enticement that makes him happy. New age spirituality means it is important cultural like it is the most important cultural vector shaping the Flemish road. The Flemish road, because Azaru is tested several times to leave the physical world, so it gives or it gives the notion of new age of spirituality. So novel makes it clear to us that Azaru rebels against this utopia, like the spirit world, where he can only find only happiness and pleasure. So willing himself to stay in the labyrinth world of suffering and bewilderment. The utopia refers to the spiritual world, and the world of suffering is the physical world, the world of human beings. Immediately after his birth, Azaru begins to see spirits. As a result, people dub him the spirit child, a Bhikkhu child. So occasionally the spirits they foretell his future and save him from any outside harm. As Azaru is sleeping one night, and he is dreaming that a spirit is telling him to leave the house. Azaru states that I woke up, ran out of the room and up the road. My parents were dragging me back when we discovered that compound was burning. However, the spirits only do this because they want to win Azaru's trust. The spirits only save him because they wanted him to come back, and in order to win his trust, in order to win his sympathy or love, they try to save him from the harms. This happens early in the novel. Other interactions of the spirits later in the novel are not as helpful, because he made clear that he didn't want to go back. So after this incident, Azaru is constantly seeing the grotesque spirit that no one can else see, especially as the customers at the bar of Madame Coutu. So one of the spirits, a three-headed monster, approaches him at the bar. The spirit stares at him for a long time, starting an awful noise like an drill at the top of Azaru's skull. So similar to the three-headed spirit, all other spirits, they approach Azaru in a bizarre way, leaving him with a cold feeling. Means the ability to not fall to the spirit's enticement brings happiness to Azaru's life. And because of the relationship with the spirit world, he can also find happiness. So he loves his life in this physical world too much to leave it. So he declares that how many times had I been born and died young, I had no idea, but this time I chose to stay. So he makes this decision because the world of suffering includes a significant relationship he has with his family and friends, and who all contribute to his happiness. So the close relationships that Azaru has with his parents, Madame Coutu, the spirits, bring him joy in odd but assuring ways. So Azaru's father is his personal mentor. He tells everything to him he should know about money, people, and in short about life. So this makes Azaru the content, because the conversation he has with his father make him feel significant. as the Azaru's mother is the confident and the protector of the Azaru, she also brings joys to Azaru's life, and he can always trust that his mother loves him even when his father abuses him. So Madame Kutu also brings joy to Azaru's life because he can rely on her when he is in trouble financially. So lastly, the ability to evade the spirit's enticement makes Zaru happy because he is able to remain in the physical world with his family. So whatever hope remains in the world, it is not in some paradisical fairyland. So rather it is firmly rooted in community with essential ties to traditional ancestry. So the close relationships Azaru establishes help him find happiness in the tough Nigerian society. So first thing that can give that gives happiness, that bring happiness in the novel, that those are the close relationships. Second thing is personal getaways. The characters in the Famished Road are also able to obtain happiness from personal getaways, because the routine Nigerian life is brimming with poverty, political turmoil, and physical threats. So characters such as Azaru's family and the customers of the Madame Kutu, they find a way to escape their troubles. So conflicts in the Famished Road, they define the life in the period leading to the country's anticipated independence. Landlords fight the laborers, policemen victimize citizens, politicians fight each other, office seekers poison those whose votes they suspect will cast for another group. So humans fight demons, who in turn fight one another. For many, having a personal hobby will allow them to ignore all these troubles, to find an escape. In fact, if we talk about the real world, we do need escape time to time. We just want to hide, or we just want to get escape into anything that so that we can forget for the time being about our suffering, about the troubles of the life. So the most evident hobby in the novel is Azaru's father's boxing. Azaru notes that we had no idea how serious dad was with his boxing. Mother replies, poverty is driving him mad. Father starts to box shortly after his family is hit with a financial crisis, and he cannot obtain the money, so he decides to box to relieve the stress. Dad fights his enemies, visible and invisible, for no sustainable coherent cause. He fights only to forget his problem, such as poverty, violence, which disrupt his life and his family life. He doesn't have a specific cause or goal in his mind. Rather, after a vicious fight with a former boxing champ, Azaru, whose father, lingers around the compound for 6 days, slowly recovering from his throbbing sores and his indigo colored bruises. So, however, for the first time in the novel, he is happy. Azaru says he made funny faces and twiddled his great big fingers like a horrible buffoon. Boxing his way out of trouble is his only escape to happiness. Despite their troubles, the people of Nigeria, they find bliss in the oddest places. So the Nigerian people, including Azaru, have a hobby of meeting up with the town photographer routinely to play with his pictures. So the children find happiness in the trivial things. So the photographer pretends to take pictures to please them, because technology and expensive equipment are rare in Nigerian society. So children are related to be in front of a camera. The children, they visit the photographer every day. indicating that they enjoy his acquaintance as well as his equipment. So when Azaru and his friends mistakenly kick a ball into the photographer's window and destroy all of his pictures, Azaru is hit heavily with grief. And he states that I felt so sad about his pictures that I began to pester dad. He didn't want his hobby of playing with photographers' pictures and equipment to end, so he asked his father to replace the pictures. Azarus notes that the pictures and expensive equipment result in the children's happiness because it provides them with lavish equipment in their life, making them feel as if they were a part of the elite. So, along with children, adults, they also find joy in peculiar places such as the bar of Madame Coutu. So, the alcohol consumption, a favorite hobby of the adults, is the remedy for the troubles of Nigerian troubles for Nigerian people. Azaru's father tells Azaru, learn to drink, my son. A man must be able to hold his drink because drunkenness is sometimes necessary in this difficult life. So, for Azaru's personal getaway is the bar of Madame Coutu. Since Azaru's family is deprived of steady diet, he escapes to Madame Coutu's bar for meals. And Azaru is waiting in the bar for the first time. Madame Coutu approaches him with a bowl of pepper soup and yam. So also the bar of Madame Coutu serves as Azaru's personal getaway because Azaru knows that Madame Coutu can protect him from the angry spirits, and describes, everywhere I saw cross-eyed spirits. Azaru knew that he can depend on Madame Coutu to protect and believe him when no one else is there. So his father rarely believed his extravagant tales. After following spirits one night, Azaru gets lost in a forest, and this angers his parents greatly. Second personal getaway of is forest. The forest is teeming with spirits that try to lure him out of the physical world. The forest serves as a personal getaway because he is not fully conscious as he enters the forest. He is free of pain and misery that he experiences in the physical world. As spirits are leading him to the forest, he admits that my feet ached. I stopped and saw my toes bleeding. I didn't panic. I felt no pain. Soon I was at the edge of the great forest, whose darkness is a god. So when people at the bar attack Azaru, the first place he runs to is the forest. So since no one resides or lives near the forest, he knows that he can always escape there for protection from enemies and strangers. So the forest is also the personal getaway of Azaru. Then comes the different jobs of the characters. For example, Azaru's dad has a rising, the politician, and so he decides to get a political office because he wants to bring reform. So Azaru states that he began to talk loudly about becoming the head of state, seizing power from the white people that ruled us, and of all the good things he would do for the suffering people of the world. So this is in fact a personal getaway from his original life, because he enters a world completely opposite of his old world. So this allows him to forget his old troubles and envision a new Nigeria. So this was the thing that this is the thing that Ben Okri wants these Nigerian people to do, to seek a getaway and to forget the old world and to enter into the new world. So This personal getaway from everyday life transforms him from a boxer who fights for self gratification to a fighter who fights for justice. Means first he was fighting for his own self. Later on he started fighting for the greater good. And because of this transformation pleases Zaru, and he also became famous. And the personal getaways from his normal pleases the lower class citizens because it brings reform. He declares that his main goal is to create a school for beggars. That was the goal of the dad. So the new job of the Azaru's father, it brings happiness to himself and to all, because it promises a better future. Then comes the getaway of Jeremiah, the photographer. Photographer, he has also his job, and he is the only photographer around, and everyone gathers around him as soon as he enters the room with his camera. His job makes him happy because it brings him attention. He went back, okay. Although he is not part of the Nigerian royalty, people still treat him with respect because he has camera, the modern equipment, and people like that equipment. Jeremiah also attains happiness from the fame that results from his work. After the national newspaper uses Jeremiah's picture to cover the front page news, he becomes known throughout the country. And he was very high spirit, and he got a lot of attention and fame. So all in all, Jeremiah's personal getaway as a photographer makes him happy, makes him joyful, because it brings him fame and respect from everyone. So the personal getaways gives the characters an opportunity to momentarily forget about their troubles in life. Boxing of the Azaru's father allows him to reveal his stress and to forget about the financial crisis that dominates the life of his family. So the children of Nigeria, they go to old places such as photographer's shop for enjoyment, because it gives them fancy. And there also comes the Madame Couture's bar. It brings joy to the adult people, and it also brings joy to the Azaru. Azaru is happy when he escapes to the bar of Madame Couture, because he cannot be nourished and protected by Madame Couture. It is also his personal refuge from spirits and strangers. Azaru is pleased. The next comes the financial success. Financial success also brings happiness in the lives of the characters of the work. Obviously, financial success brings happiness in everyone's life, and it takes most of the worries away. And in this work, it is important because Nigeria, it is brimming with the poverty, and any form of financial success, it results in happiness. And the most evident source of financial success is found in the bar of Madame Couture. The bar of Madame Couture brings joy to herself as well as her customers. So after watching Madame Couture counting money, Azaru states she counted her money over and over again, as if she had just woken from the nightmare of poverty. Because she has no children and doesn't have a spouse, so financial success is all Madame Couture lives for. So she believes that more people will respect her and pay more attention to her if she is wealthy. So the success of her bar allows her to buy things that people would only dream of possessing, such as pretty clothes, a car, electricity, which eventually bring her fame and happiness. So the second one is the financial success is also happiness also comes from the success of hardworking jobs. Like both Azaru's parents, they work tenaciously to make enough money. Means Azaru's father, he holds two different jobs, a loader and a boxer. So although he makes very little, but his minuscule financial success feeds his family. So and because the mini finances also feeding his family, and he makes it also brings happiness to him. At least he was able to feed his family. So being nourished makes Azaru and his mother joyful. So as Azaru's father becomes a boxer, he makes less money. So like as Azaru's father gets more skilled, he makes little financial success. As a result, his family suffers. So this suggests that financial success is directly proportional to happiness. So as he makes less money as a boxer, his wife and son, they become sadder because they know they will not be well supported. Unlike her husband, Azaru's mother, she keeps one steady job. She doesn't make much, but it is enough to feed Azaru, which makes her happy. So she started working as a hawker, and she went off to market, went hawking her boxes of matches, sweets, cigarettes and odds and ends down the roads in a quite empty stomach. So although she has starved herself while earning money, while making some money, although she has starved herself, she refuses to starve her son. So seeing her son healthy makes her happy, and success financially will contribute to feeding her son. So the financial success, it automatically brings the happiness in the lives of the characters, and as I said, it is directly proportional to the happiness. As the financial success rises, happiness rises. So to conclude, we can say that Okri represents the polar extremes in magical realistic writing. Like readers are able to grasp the realistic problems Nigeria faces, although they are concealed in magical scenes. But he uses the famished road to describe various problems that the country faces in the present. But he has also revealed ways that characters can find happiness. By finding joy in their poverty-stricken life, the characters can momentarily forget about their daily troubles. He describes several methods to find happiness. First, the close relationship between the characters. Second, the personal getaways. Third, the financial success. That one is the vital because it lifts one's spirits. So he accurately reveals to readers, to the people, especially those who can connect to the moral of the story, that it is possible to attain happiness through a difficult life. Instead of being sad, instead of being negative or losing hope, it is better to be to attain happiness. For example, in these days, as we all are going through a disaster, instead of being negative about it, we can come up with something positive to uplift our spirits. We can come up with innovative ideas or innovative activities to uplift the spirits of our family members and our own. So instead of because of this pandemic, there is the atmosphere of melancholy everywhere. So in order to avoid from it, we should create something positive from it, and we should think of it as something positive instead of tagging it a negative. So we can say that it might be a blessing in disguise. So instead of only associating the negative things to it. That is all about for today's lecture. I have also put references. You can search on their own the other themes as well. For now it is all. Okay, mistakenly I have put double slides. The second, these are the references for this lecture, and these are the references for the previous lecture. Thank you so much for your patience. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.